for watching Numbskull News. And today, I'm going to reiterate some things I've said in the past about the truth, what my truth is when you're talking UNC and Virginia. University of North Carolina Tar Heels. When I'm talking about them in realignment, them going to the SEC and Big Ten. Now, I have a lot of people, not a lot of people, but quite a few people, for me, for a micro channel, that watch me, that know how I feel about that. And I haven't been, haven't been shy about sharing it. However, I've had a lot of new members, and it's been a little bit since I've really talked in depth, or at least somewhat in depth, about what I believe is going to happen. Now, as you newer members may be aware that there's several national media types that have written about how UNC and Virginia are the most sought after schools outside of Notre Dame in realignment when it concerns the Big Ten and the SEC. I have been a contrarian voice to that. I don't believe that that's going to happen. I just don't. I'm going to break it down for you kind of quickly. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it. But I wanted to share this, especially like I said, with some new members I have gotten over the years, or over the last several months, I should say, new subscribers. You have to start with what I think the Big Ten and the SEC are going to do. Let's start with the Big Ten. That's, to me, that's where the majority, if not all, the action is going to start. Is the Big Ten. I believe they're going to act first because I think they have to act first. Right now they have 3 media partners who, by and large, are happy with what they purchase, the media rights they have purchased from the Big Ten. However, there's one little gripe, and it's not that small, which is they don't feel they get enough premium matchups every year. They get some, but they don't believe they get enough. Okay? Next, the Big Ten want to bring in Amazon as a 4th big media partner to get a full slate of games. And Amazon's going to be willing to pay out the ass for it. I believe that's going to happen. That has also been reported. So, they can't take games away, especially premium matchup games away from the 3 media partners just to make Amazon happy. They have to expand with more content to make that happen. And it can't just be any old whatever the hell content, whatever the hell school, whatever the hell football programs. It's got to be teams that provide premium matchups for their existing partners and for Amazon, who's going to be brought in for big money. Okay? Next, I do believe it will be Notre Dame coming in. That's one of the ads they're going to get. And Notre Dame doesn't want to do it. But they want to stay within a certain dollar amount of the Ohio States and the Michigans of the world, who they see as their peers. They don't want to fall too far behind them monetarily, because then over time they will stop being able to compete with those peers. They don't want that to happen. They won't allow that to happen when there's a way for them to get the money to compete, and that is to leave independence, one form or another, and join the Big Ten. And the Big Ten, they are going to go unequal revenue sharing. Once they kick that off, there's no way that Notre Dame can keep up without being a full member of the Big Ten. And Notre Dame won't come alone. I believe they'll want Miami to come with them. I believe, and there's been enough reporting about this, that the Big Ten want Miami. They want to get in, not just into the state of Florida, they want to get into the southeast of the country. The city of Miami itself is a great market. The Big Ten love great markets. Miami is also AAU. That is also important to the Big Ten. That's been well documented. Now, will those two provide enough additional content for Amazon and enough premium matchups for their existing media partners. I don't think it will be enough. It'll be close, but I don't think it'll be enough. I think the Big Ten are going to make a big push and a big play for FSU, Florida State, and Clemson. I think they're going to do that. I know they're not AAU. Florida State's working on it. Clemson's working on it. Florida State is closer, much closer to it than Clemson. At least by what I have read, what I have seen, and watched people talk about online. People that would know more than I would. Because you have to remember, all right, when you're talking about getting to the next level, because the Big Ten is making an ass ton of money right now. Their money right now is naturally going up. But when you want to bring in an Amazon, when you want to satisfy your current media partners and an Amazon, and bring in a shit ton, I'm talking hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars of more money on the next media rights deal with 4 big media partners, you're going to have the right content mix in order to make that happen. And this shit is about football, folks. It's about football, the viewership, the markets that they bring you. All of that together. Academics are important to who? It's important to Big Ten presidents. But they're going to have to make some decisions. Do they want Amazon and Amazon's money? Yes. They're going to have to make the right decisions to make that happen at the dollar amount that they're going to want to extract from Amazon. And you only do that with enough premium matchups, which UNC and Virginia do not bring you, not in football. What I believe about the SEC, I think the presidents in the SEC, it is very possible they are wanting to expand in a different way than their lone media partner of ESPN wants to expand. Follow this. Realignment is about money. It's about money and it's about power. What brings a conference more money and more power? They have shown you it's football. That's what the entire SEC conference is built on. Football and footprint. Close geography and the mecca of football, the greatest area of the country. If you did it in 4 quadrants on football fandom, they're in the most lush quadrant for football fandom, from Texas to Georgia. Period. Into story. That's how they built the conference. That's how they got the success level and how they make their huge money. The SEC would like to diversify their portfolio, but that time has passed. I'm sorry, it has. Because their money's not based off of academics either. It's not based off of basketball. It's not even really based on market value. Somewhat, a little bit. They do get a bump from some of the nice markets they have, but it's mostly about that football viewership. And it's monstrous. Now, they would like to diversify a little bit, maybe expand the footprint a little bit with UNC and Virginia. You can't convince me ESPN is on board with that shit. Because they're the ones paying all the freight for the SEC. And they will continue to do so. And the SEC conference itself wants that. They want that one big media partner. And they want it to be the worldwide leader. The biggest sports distributor in the world. That's ESPN. And they want to continue to have them as their number one. However, there's going to be a divide when it comes to how the SEC should expand. ESPN is going to want Florida State and Clemson for the viewership. They don't care that the SEC is already in those states. It doesn't matter. Florida State and Clemson makes money. They make money for a conference. So what I believe is going to happen is while ESPN and the SEC are kind of having a bit of an inward struggle there on how they should expand, the Big Ten's going to jump all over it. They're going to already have all their ducks in a row. All the talks of getting enough people on board to add Florida State and Clemson, they'll get it done. Because there's too much freaking money at stake. Now, they could be stupid enough to not do it. But, look, they've already halted the UC investment deal because of Michigan and USC. Now, if it's Ohio State that doesn't want those two, then they won't be coming into the conference. I'm not making that case. But if it's Michigan and USC again, well, guess what? It's going to happen. If Ohio State wants it to happen, because they have all the clout in that sucker now, because of that UC investment deal, because they were willing to do a 20-year grant of rights and hold that whole sucker together, Super League be damned. Because of that, everyone's going to follow Ohio State now. They have all the clout. So if they're cool with it, then that's what's going to happen. And I have a feeling they'll be cool with it because they want that Amazon money. They want the unequal with the unequal revenue sharing with the Amazon money. Oh, it's too much to pass up. You know, we'll get these jackholes AAU status eventually. All right, they'll get there. But Notre Dame, Miami, they're already AAU. And everyone will be jumping through hoops. Everyone will be jumping and shitting their pants over getting Notre Dame finally and pairing them with Miami. It'll be good times for everybody. Let's go ahead and get Florida State and Clemson on in here. And they know they need to do it fast before ESPN talks the SEC into getting them. Okay, is everyone feeling what that's kind of how I'm looking at it. And so with all the biggest players, football-wise, off the board, does ESPN and the SEC still go and get UNC in Florida? UNC and Virginia? I'm saying no. At that point, look, the SEC, nor does ESPN, they don't want to have a bunch of infighting about this. Say, look, the big players, look, ESPN's like, oh, look, we already lost. They went to Fox. They went to NBC, CBS, and Amazon. Screw it. And at that point, the leadership in the SEC will be like, you know what? Look, we're good. And you also have to look at Texas and Oklahoma. A huge power that just came into the SEC. They don't like expansion. Anyone that tells you any different doesn't know the history of them in the Big 12. They didn't fight for Nebraska. They didn't fight to keep Colorado. They didn't fight to keep Texas A&M or Missouri. They let them go. It's more pie for them. That's their philosophy. It's been their philosophy. Why didn't the Big 12 add BYU a long time ago? Because now we see it's an incredible ad for this conference. It would have been incredible 6-8 years ago. Whenever that was. But Texas said nah. And Oklahoma said nah. More pie for us. That's what they're about. And with the 16 the SEC have, I can see them staying there permanently. Which means UNC and Virginia, well, there's no Big 2 for them. That's what I feel. That's what I believe is going to happen. I don't think they want to go to the Big 12. Neither did Utah. Neither did Arizona State. They did what they had to do, which is don't stay on a sinking ship. You understand? You get into the buoy and you go over to the other ship. Even though that's not the ship you want, but that ship still gets you paid and keeps you relevant. It's in the same ocean with the big luxury liners of the Big Ten and the SEC. It's not sinking. It's afloat. It's not even taking on water, y'all. So that's what I feel is going to happen. They will eventually come to the Big 12 because they have no other choices. And another problem with going to the SEC, well, there's a lot of political issues in both states. You have to do some of the research. Some of you new guys may already know all this stuff. But things that went on in Virginia, highly political, and especially in North Carolina, which North Carolina can't even make their own decisions in terms of realignment. The state, the power's already been taken from them. They have to go to the state and ask for permission. And the state has already basically said that they don't want to see their other public schools get screwed, i.e. North Carolina State. The Wolf Pack. They don't want to see them get screwed. They want to keep them two together. That ain't going to happen in the SEC. People have actually thought, the SEC, they'll take North Carolina State just to get UNC. That's the most laughable thing I have heard so far. They are not going to do that. UNC does not have the clout of Notre Dame. Notre Dame can basically pick their partner. When they go to the Big Ten, they can pick whoever the hell they want. That's how much they're worth. It's written into the Big Ten media rights deal. Notre Dame is. Everyone's money automatically jumps up when Notre Dame comes in. It's written in to the contract. UNC doesn't have that. They're not written into anyone else's contract. Stop. It's ridiculous. It's getting to the point of ridiculous. There's no comparison with the University of North Carolina and Notre Dame. That's two different wavelengths there. One's a top blue blood brand. The other one's tier 2. It's nowhere close. And by the way, I could be very wrong. I'm taking a gigantic bite of this enchilada here. I'm putting all my money on red and spinning the wheel, dropping the marble. I understand. But when I'm looking at the tea leaves, when I'm going through my logic, I don't got any sources. There's no one telling me. I got no money people, whispering things in my ear. I have none of that. All I have is my logic and my balls. That's it. And what both are telling me, it makes no damn sense when realignment's about football. The 80% of your money is based on football, regardless of conference. That's the truth. So realignment, being about money, is about football. Everything else is a distant second, third, and fourth. If that's the case, UNC ain't going to bring you jack. Neither's Virginia. As a matter of fact, they'll cost the SEC money. And the one final thing about the SEC, they're not going to do a damn thing that's going to cost them money. Because I know damn well Texas and OU ain't going to go for that shit. And I have a feeling, once they lay that hammer down, there's going to be a lot of big brands in the SEC going to say, you know what? These guys are kind of right. We like them. We liked it. They brought us a whole lot of money into this conference. They're going to get us paid in the future. We're just going to go with them. Yeah. Alabama, Georgia, Tennessee. You bet your ass. We're doing it Texas's way. We ain't adding nobody that's going to cost us any margin smaller of a pie. Hell no. We want the big full plate of the SEC chunk, baby. Anyway, thanks for watching this crap. I'll be back with some more crap later. Bye.